It's not working. It's true. Probably better with it.
I literally thought it was my eyes. I didn't know. Yeah. Oh, no.
Could you see this?
Can you do like a topple Fargo down?
We got video.
That would be, that'd be, I'd get hurt and I'd have to see her.
This must be one of yours, right?
All the heritage.
Yeah, yeah.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monday, November 6, 2023 West Fargo City Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and at this time, I respectfully ask that you join me on the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner George?
Here.
Commissioner Simmons?
Here.
Commissioner Gardner?
Here.
Commissioner Olson?
Here.
Commissioner Anderson?
Here.
We have a quorum, and all the commissioners are in attendance. Our next order of business is to approve the order of the agenda. It has been distributed and in the packet.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Olson. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Anderson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the order of the agenda as distributed. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next order of business is to approve the minutes of October 16th, 2023. They have been distributed. They are in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Commissioner Anderson?
Emily, did you take note of that change that we brought up? Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll move to approve.
I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 16th as amended. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item F, this is an informational item, building permits. It had been distributed. If you have any questions, respectfully ask that we direct them towards Aaron Nelson, our Director of Planning and Zoning.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner George. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Anderson, second. Been moved and second to approve the building permit report as distributed. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next order is the consent agenda. We have items A through N. Commissioners, are there anything in the consent agenda that you have concerns or any discussion about? If not, a motion, please, to
Make a
approve.
motion to approve?
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, items A through N. Is there any discussion?
Just 2 points of clarification.
Please, go ahead,
Items-
Commissioner Olson.
Items C and D, in the cover memo, it lists the city of Minot by accident in both of them, just so that is corrected.
Mr. Scott, would you look at that? It looks like maybe there was a cut and paste type thing. Our city engineer, Dan Hansen, is not with us this evening, so if you could make sure that that's a clarification. We talk about the North Dakota DOT and Grand Forks, and we also talk about Mandan, but Minot is mentioned in the narrative of both of them.
Yes, sir. Our Assistant City Engineer of Transportation, Andrew Rucky, is in the audience too. He could speak to that.
Thank you. Andrew, have you noted that in the paperwork?
Yes, the agreements should both be correct. Underneath the cover letter, they should be
Very good.
under that. So it's just a error in the agenda item.
Very small error. Thank you, Andrew. So we have a motion and a second with the discussion regarding items C and D to be amended. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to the regular agenda. The first order of business is public comment. We have had no one register for public comment. Is that correct, Madam Secretary? Okay. So public comment is closed, and we move on to item number 2 on the regular agenda. This is a property owner request to build within a public storm sewer easement at 445 7th Street Northwest. Conditionally approve or deny property owner request. Mr. Aaron Nelson will be presenting. Director of Planning and Zoning. Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you and good evening, Mayor Dart, Commissioner Dart, President Dartis, and Commissioners. So item 2 is to property owner request to build within a public storm sewer easement at 445 7th Street Northwest. I intend to give a brief overview of the situation and then hand things off to the petitioner, Kim Elberty of Elberty Seed and Supply, to provide any additional detail or to answer any specific questions you might have for him. So, in quick summary, Agassi Seed is planning a building expansion at their facility at 445 7th Street Northwest. This is the map on the screen in front of you here illustrates their site layout. A portion of the proposed building is this kind of black box right here, adjacent to an existing building in white up in the northwestern quadrant of the property here, as well as a little addition on the northwest side as well. The proposed expansion sits within an existing 25-foot public storm sewer easement, which runs along the north portion of the property, which is this dashed line here. The petitioner has initiated a replat of the property for the purpose of vacating the portion of the easement where the proposed building would be located. However, this process will take some time. This will be on the Planning and Zoning Commission agenda for next week, prior to final consideration by the City Commission. However, that will take some time. As such, the petitioner is requesting that the City Commission allow the building permit to be issued prior to partial vacation of the easement, in order to allow them to begin construction within the easement area at their own risk. The petitioner is wanting to get started on this project as soon as possible, with winter approaching. A similar request was granted to Agassiz Seed and Supply in November of 2019 for the building that exists there today. Along with that, the granting of that request in 2019, there was intention that the easement be partially vacated at that time. However, that process was never completed, presumably due in part at least to the start of the pandemic. So the action being requested tonight is to either conditionally approve or deny the property owner's request to build within the public storm sewer easement. If the commission would like to approve the request, in that case, staff would recommend that such approval be conditioned on the petitioner signing and submitting a written waiver agreement as drafted by the city attorney. The requested action does not exempt the petitioner from any compliance with any and all other applicable development, building codes, and all other such requirements. So the request tonight is specific to allowing staff to issue a building permit for construction to take place within the easement prior to easement vacation. Staff has had a chance to review this at a high level, and there are no issues or concerns that staff has in relation to the easement. So with that, I hand things off to Mr. Albertly, if you'd like to add any additional details. Otherwise, I'm certainly able to answer any questions you have for staff.
Commissioner Olson?
Aaron, is the current building already on the easement?
It is.
Okay.
Any additional questions from Mr. Nelson? Good evening, Mr. Alberti. Welcome.
Evening. Thank you. Kim Alberti. I live at 1912 Princeton Lane in West Fargo. I'm here as a managing partner of Agassiz Seed Associates at 445 7th Street Northwest regarding our building permit. As you can see by the, I guess the drawings that are on the board, we already have the existing building there. Our intention was, after you approved it, or the body approved it in 2019, that we would go ahead with the vacation or the change of the size of the easement. That got dropped for two reasons. One, of course, was coronavirus, and lots of things ended up upside down at that point. The other part of it at that point was that it was tied together with our neighbor to the west, Midnight Express, who was going through an ownership change, not only of the company, but also of the property. And the property is now owned by an investment group on the East Coast. Difficult to get a hold of them since there's no local management, and so along with us neglecting to finish it because of coronavirus, we didn't complete the process. We are now working with Matt Prochniak with More Engineering to complete the change in the easement, and our building has been sitting there for the last 3.5 years completed. We don't believe it's caused any issues. We would like to do the addition to that. We're going to relocate a catch basin that's on the north property line, so we won't be eliminating any drainage and actually adding some additional drainage on the property at the same time. So we would request that you approve the permit. If you have any questions.
Questions, commissioners? Commissioner Olson?
4 years ago, you waited until November to ask for such a thing to go around the proper channels of going to the Planning Commission first, going right to the City Commission, and now you're coming again to us in the same fashion. Why didn't you come to us back in June or July to do this? Why did you wait till now where we have to go around, do it backwards?
Yep. Commissioner Olson, we're not good planners. We're in the seed business. We're not in the property management or building business. You can ask our contractor, who is sitting next to me in the back, that we traditionally plan projects very late in the year. We base it on our own cash flow and our needs for our business at the time. And so, yes, we were remiss in not getting this started, and we dropped the ball in not getting it completed, which it should have been in 2020. So I'm not going to defend what we're doing. We're not asking anybody, yes, we're asking you to temporarily go around it, but I believe, as Mr. Nelson said, we are in the process of completing it properly and doing it backwards. We're up against the weather. We would like to have the foundation in the ground now so that we can put the steel up and have access to the building before our next spring business, which will start for us as we're preparing in February and March.
Thank you. Commissioner Simmons?
Thank you. Is this the same one that we did approve in 2019, though, and then you just didn't finish it, correct?
We didn't
Is that
finish
right?
it.
So,
Same one that was already approved by the commission at that.
but even after this, you still have to go to planning and zoning, correct?
Yep, I believe it's on the agenda
For the
on
13th or whatever?
next week's meeting. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question for our city attorney, Mr. Shockley. You know, in the last paragraph, the petitioner has to sign a written agreement as drafted, so the action this evening would initiate you to draft that agreement, is that correct?
Mr. Commission President, that's correct, and I actually have a form document that I already prepared in it, recognizing that the winter month was coming quick.
Okay.
Winter months were coming quickly. If the city commission approved it, then city staff just has to update the draft document.
Thank you.
I have a copy of the signed document with me that I'll be happy
Very
to
good.
hand off.
Mr. Nelson, could you step to the microphone, please? It is the recommendation from your office that this is acceptable? That you didn't, we don't have a narrative that, and I realize it's a policy for the commission because it's, but what's your professional opinion on this, please?
Yeah, there is no concern from staff's view. Like was mentioned, this was essentially reviewed in 2019, and that was the intention, was to vacate it in 2019. So this is somewhat of a unique circumstance. And so, you know, staff really doesn't have the authority to approve a building permit within an easement, and so that's why the request is coming to the city commission in order to grant that special
Well,
request.
we thank you for following the process. Commissioners, what's your pleasure?
I'm going to make a motion to approve moving forward at their own risk.
Commissioner Simmons moves a motion to approve. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Anderson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the conditionally approve the owner's request to build within the easement at 445 7th Street Northwest. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, sir. Item number 3, request to expend asset forfeiture funds, by Chief of Police Pete Nielsen, approving an expenditure of $51,374 in asset forfeiture funds. Good evening, Chief, and welcome.
Good evening, Commission President, fellow commissioners. I stand here today asking to spend the $51,374 for funds to on rifle-rated body armor plates. As most of you know, July 14th of this year happened, and as you can see by a picture that I have up here, one of the Fargo police officers was shot with a rifle. During that time, the officer was wearing a rifle-rated plate, and at this time, the West Fargo Police Department, the officers do not have rifle-rated plates. All officers are issued soft body armor, and that soft body armor is what is mandatory, and that soft body armor that they're wearing is the only rounds that will stop is small handgun caliber rounds. I'm asking to make this one-time purchase to provide all the officers within my staff to have front and back body armor, rifle-rated plates. If this is approved, this will become mandatory, and all officers will be wearing these rifle-rated plates on their actual bodies. It's an unfortunate reality that we asked for this and to ask to spend this money, but with the current climate and what's happening, I expect that my staff members and all officers within the department are safe. And to do that, I'm asking to spend this money out of the asset forfeiture account. I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Chief Nielsen. Commissioner Simmons.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a comment, those pictures do not justify how important it is that you folks get that compared to what happened. So I wholeheartedly support this. I would make a motion to approve it.
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the asset forfeiture asset for $51,374 for the West Fargo Police Department. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Item number 4 is a fuel station RFP for city vehicles. Mr. Matt Anbick, Director of Public Works for the City of West Fargo, is presenting. Good evening, Mr. Anbick, and welcome.
Good evening, Commissioner President, Commissioners. This evening, I just come before you for just approving the publishing of an RFP for a fueling station. What we'd like to do is, if you'd approve it tonight, go in the next few weeks, publish an RFP for a fueling station up at the Public Works building and one or two pumps down by our 40th Avenue facility down by the water tower down there, just for the fueling of city vehicles. We currently use the different fueling stations are Petroserve, RJ's, I think that's Tesoro down by Eagle Run. There are different places that we use to fill up for city vehicles. We've been in contact with the city of Fargo, and they have their own fueling station. City of Moore has their own fueling station as well. What they can get when they buy fuel in bulk is almost half the price of what we're paying right now. So if we can do that and have control of our own, supply of fuel in case of a natural disaster or anything, where we can hook generators up, we're not waiting in lines or anything of that nature. That way PD and fire themselves would have access to that fuel as well. So right now, I guess I'm just looking for approval to go out, put this out for an RFP. We are assuming the price range will come in between $700,000 and $900,000. It all depends on where we position that and how much concrete or asphalt needs to go in, where we build those. I guess the timeline with that is if you approve it, we'll go in the next few weeks, publish the RFP. A lot of times that'll be out for 2 or 3 weeks. We'll get the results from that RFP, bring it back, and then timeline, probably the start of the next year, we'll bring that back for approval. And I'll stand for any questions.
Commissioner Olson.
Is that the total project for both fueling station or just per fueling station? The $700,000 to $900,000?
Total for both.
For both, okay.
Yep.
So are the storage tanks below ground?
These would be below ground on these.
Okay, good.
We didn't look at maybe trying to do some above ground last year, but where we could put them and just the amount of fuel that we go through, that just didn't make any sense at the time.
Commissioner Anderson.
We've had some email exchange over this topic here. Today you sent me some numbers as far as gallons go that we used in 2022. Just the question of those, just for public, said that gasoline gallons was 84,805, diesel gallons was 85,160. Did those numbers include all entities, or was that just Public Works, or did it include police and fire as well?
That was just Public Works and police. We didn't have numbers with fire when we ran those numbers.
Okay.
85,000 gallons per
Correct.
gasoline and then diesel.
170 total.
Yeah, okay.
And I guess to go back on that point, for what we were paying our average in 2022 for diesel, number 2 diesel, we paid $4.48. The bid price that Fargo had was $2.49.
So for the public's knowledge, presently, when you pull up with a city vehicle at any of the existing stations that you use, what's the security? How do we know that that fuel is going into a city-owned vehicle?
A lot of it is just, we have the one up at the, on Main Avenue, the Petro serve up there, we have our own, kind of our gas cards that go in there where we can kind of have a key fob that tracks what we use up there. And then the other one, if you can stop at just about any other one, as long as you have that receipt that we get back from that, it goes onto our account. We get the receipts and everything and track the bills that way.
So how would the security work if
On
we
this.
have our own fuel?
Oh, sorry, misunderstood you on that one. What we'd do is you have a fueling system there. There would be either PIN, you'd have to either enter the your ID plus a key fob, or we'd have it all be on codes, and you have to enter in, the mileage, your unit number, and probably your own ID or a specialized ID.
So, but how is that tracked? So, I feel guilty inferring this, but what if an individual has his personal vehicle there at 2 o'clock in the morning, goes out there and fills it up with gas and just puts in his, is that all
We would have-
monitored? Is
You would have to, we'd have a fuel system basically, so it tracks every gallon that's used, and then it'll go, by vehicle on how many gallons were used, different things like that. I believe on some of the softwares that you have, you can actually go in there and limit the amount per day that they'll work. But with something like this, well, I'm sure we would have security cameras on the pumps themselves.
I'm familiar with that. I just wanted you to state it to the public. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Commissioners, any other questions?
I'll make the motion to approve the issuance of the RFP.
Thank you, Commissioner Olson. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner George seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the RFP for a fueling station and our north location and our south location. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. The motion passes on a 4-to-1 vote, Madam Secretary. Item number 5 is a replacement purchase of a sewer inspection camera. Again, Mr. Matt Anvick, Director of Public Works, is presenting, and he's looking to approve the ordering of a replacement sewer inspection camera for our 2024 budget in the 2023 calendar year. Again, please, Mr. Anvick.
Thank you, Commissioner President, Commissioners. Like it says, this camera inspection or the sewer inspection equipment was budgeted for 2024. Typically, we always start going out now this time of year to try and get prices. This is a little bit more specialized, and we went on Sourcewell, which is a government purchasing site, and basically soil sourced and got the price for this on that. It is under budget. We allocated $265,000 for that. This one came in at $247,086. So what we're trying to do is kind of beat any price increase coming on that might happen after the first of the year. And it's probably about a 5 to 6 month lead time to get this equipment in. It'd be nice to be able to have this new equipment, the higher resolution camera, when we start doing that work next spring. Another thing is our replacement, or the one that we're replacing right now, we do have a few people that are interested in that, and we probably be able to get a little bit more on that resale if we put it on auction in the coming months. So that way, it's kind of a twofold thing. We can maybe get a little bit more on our resale on the existing camera we have, and then we also can try and beat some price increases if we order that now. And then right now, it's basically we're just ordering it, getting our name on it, and the invoice wouldn't come due until 2024. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Envick. Questions, commissioners?
Just so I'm clear, if we order it now, we don't have to pay for it until we get it.
Correct.
Okay. Which won't be for 4 to 6 months or so.
We're guessing probably around May right now.
2024 budgeted dollars.
Right.
Any other questions?
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you, Commissioner Simmons. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Olson seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of a sewer inspection camera, ordering the replacement in 2023 for a delivery of 2024 budgeted dollars. This, the source well project equipment is $247,086. Is there any more further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Andrick. Item number 6, City Administrator's Report. Mr. Scott.
Good evening. Thank you, Commission President Dardis and Commissioners. Well, we're on track for a short meeting tonight, so I'll keep it brief. Really wanted to take an opportunity to point out our upcoming closures here in November. We got a couple holidays. We got we're closed Friday, November 10th in observance of Veterans Day. And then city offices will also be closed on November 23rd and 24th for Thanksgiving. And then January 1st is our first Monday, which obviously is a holiday. So I just wanted some discussion on whether or not to schedule our first commission meeting on Tuesday the 2nd, or we could go with meeting the 2nd and 4th Mondays of the month, go with the 3rd and 5th Mondays of the month. So just wanted your thoughts, feedback, on how we should plan.
Commissioners, any thoughts on this?
I'm okay with just moving it to Tuesday, that we don't mess up further down the road.
There are 5 Mondays in the month of January. So, I mean, I'm just gonna throw this off the
Yeah,
discussion.
no, I didn't.
You could have it on the 8th and then the 22nd, and then it'll still give you 2-week time in between February 5th.
I'm fine with that too, I guess. Doesn't matter to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes, I didn't realize there were
Everyone's
5.
I didn't either till I looked. So.
Yeah. That work?
So
The 8th?
give me,
8th and I'll make a motion to move the January meetings in 2024 to January 8th and the 22nd. We'd be moving 2 meetings then.
is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Simmons seconds. Commissioner Olson moved it. We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? There you have it.
Thank you. And I do not have anything for correspondence, so.
Okay, thank you.
What's that?
Any of the commissioner have any non-agenda items they'd like to bring forward this evening?
What's he?
I think I accidentally, oops.
That's what was going on.
I accidentally sent the schedule update to like everybody instead of just.
Okay, I'm going.
Commissioner George, turn your cell phone off.
She's sending you,
That's an inside joke.
you're selling your calendar.
She's sending it to all of us, our calendar invite. Any non-agenda items, commissioners? Does any department head have a non-agenda item that they'd like to bring forward? Hearing none. Commissioner Simmons.
Move to adjourn.
Commissioner Olson.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We're adjourned. Thank you.